iPhone 11 Pro versus iPhone 12 Pro, which is the better pick? I mean, you can buy a new iPhone 12 Pro for $1,000, or you can buy this thing for around $700, $775, somewhere around there. You could potentially even find a better deal depending on where you're sourcing your device. So let's find out the major differences here. Okay, so the iPhone 11 Pro does come in this beautiful gold color. It also comes in silver, and this phone also comes in space gray. So you have three color options here. You'll see that the iPhone 11 Pro does use more of a curved edge here. Definitely been using this since the iPhone 10. At the bottom, there is a lightning port, microphone, as well as speaker grill right there. On the right side, there is a power button, and it's also doubling as a Siri button at the top. More curve action going here. And at 5.8 inches, 188 grams, this phone feels pretty comfortable to hold in the hand while also giving you a nice size. And the iPhone 12 Pro, this thing differs on the sides mostly. It does go with the squared edges. Again, we do have 5G here, so that's an improvement as well. But you can see we do have the volume markers there, silent switch there. At the bottom of this device, it also does have the lightning port, microphone holes, and it does have speaker grill as well. On the right side, you will see the power button. In addition to that, you'll see antenna line down here, antenna line at the top. Cameras are in the same position. This is the Pacific blue color. You can get this thing in graphite silver gold as well. A little bit curved on the edge, but it's still a squared off curve, so a little bit different from the iPhone 11 Pro. Ceramic on the front glass. So this thing's supposed to be 4 times stronger if you do drop it over the 11 Pro. When it comes to weight, the iPhone 11 Pro, 188 grams. The iPhone 12 Pro is actually only 189 grams. So this phone, not really that much different when it comes to how much they weigh. If you're used to the size of the 11 Pro, you'll love this phone as well if you wanted a bigger screen at 6.1 inches. When talking about width though, the iPhone 11 Pro at its thickest point is actually thicker than the iPhone 12, 8.1 millimeters versus 7.4 for the iPhone 12 Pro. When talking about the durability aspects of these devices though, it's really hard to tell. I mean, if you pick both of them up, it's more of a feel difference. Which one do you like the way it feels in your hand based on, I would say the edges of both phones, because they essentially feel the same. They both have this nice glass texture on the back that doesn't pick up a lot of scratches. It's very durable. Both these phones feel very great, premium, durable devices. Ceramic glass on the 12 Pro is an improvement. Both of these are still gonna need a screen protector because the glass does scratch, and the stainless steel for the iPhone 12 Pro, even with a case on, has the potential to scratch. So be careful with this 12 Pro if you're worried about little hairline scratches, because it happens. So let's talk about displays. Both of these phones have incredible displays. They both have the capabilities of getting to 800 nits. So the brightness is just, the best way I could describe it is just juicy on here. It's really good. Like, it's brighter than phones like the XS Max, the iPhone XS, the iPhone XR, just brighter than the iPhone 12 and 12 mini as well. So these are both very exceptional with the brightness. They can also get very dim as well, which is what I really like. A lot of variability in what you can do with them. Over here, we do have good dark modes as well. We do have night shift and true tone. So a lot of comfort, convenience features for quality of life enhancements when it comes to saving your eyes from really hurting when looking at these displays. They also do hit very high pixels per inch, with the 12 Pro coming at a slightly higher 460 ppi versus the 458 for the 11 Pro, something you would never see. Now, because the 12 Pro got a little bit bigger, the notch doesn't really seem to be noticed as much as on the smaller phone, as it's packed into a smaller display for the 11 Pro. Now, when watching video, both of these are still, I think, not the best options on the market, but they can both definitely watch a video and really enjoy that as well, mostly due to the fact that they're really sharp Super Retina XDR OLED displays, and they are capable of playing HDR content as well. So, I mean, really, there's not a big thing to worry about with either. Actually, I think if you're picking the 11 Pro, you're getting essentially the same exact type of display. Nobody would really be able to tell the difference between either, besides that it's slightly a little bit bigger than the iPhone 11 Pro. Some people are saying, no, Nick, 6.1 is so much more noticeable than 5.8. For me, I really don't think it's that big of a jump, kind of like going from this phone to like a Pro Max. That's a way bigger jump than this right here. So let's head over to the software section. I usually breeze through this section because with these iPhones, they all basically run the same thing. There's really no major difference. Again, you will have a different wallpaper. These are the stock wallpapers that come with them. But if you go into settings and we go down to the camera section as well, because there's always hardware features added with the newer iPhone, you will see different features. Like in record video, for example, you'll have this video right here, HDR video format. Won't find it here for the 11 Pro, and that's due to the fact that the 12 Pro has the hardware to support HDR video. Other than that, the software is identical in terms of operation. Both of them have 60 Hertz displays, so when actually scrolling through, going back and forth, day-to-day operation, everything feels like you're using the same exact phone. So weigh that into consideration when you are picking up one of these. Now, one thing I do want to mention about the iPhone 12 that I do like though, since we're on the topic of performance, is that we do get a nice healthy upgrade in the RAM. This phone actually goes up to 6 gigs of RAM versus a little bit smaller memory on the iPhone 11 Pro. This one actually does give us 4 gigs of RAM. So what does this mean? Essentially, it just means when you're doing this, you're on Instagram, you're in eBay, you're shopping for something real quick. You go back to Instagram, you open up a picture, maybe you're playing a game or you're doing a benchmark, probably not doing a benchmark, but playing a game or something. When you go through this app, you're hopping in between, you're never going to see a reload likely on the 12 Pro versus the 4 gigs of RAM here. When we are hopping in, it's not going to do it here with a few applications, but you will notice it sometimes if you're really pushing it hard. This phone just doesn't have enough RAM to do it. But I definitely noticed that if I was running a lot of stuff at once, really hammering on this phone, it definitely could reload an app once in a while. So on the topic of storage, so this one launched with 64 gigs, the 11 Pro, and this one launched with 128 gigs. So right from the start, the iPhone 12 Pro is the better value because they cost the same when they started. But now you can get this phone with more storage than this phone for cheaper than the starting price of this phone. So you'll have to wait for the 12 Pro to come down in price for it to be a better value in storage. And when talking about the battery life, the 11 Pro, man, this one has 3046 milliamp hour battery. We downgraded to a 2815 for the iPhone 12 Pro, but keep in mind that the iPhone 12 Pro got more efficient, so you can weigh it how you want. I still like the fact that 11 Pro has a bigger battery. I actually found that the 11 Pro lasted a little bit longer than the iPhone 12 Pro did, especially if the 12 Pro was running 5G. So that 5G does come with a sacrifice, and that's a little bit of battery life. Now, I'm not sitting up here and telling you, hey man, look, if you get the 12 Pro, you're not making it through the day. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that between these two phones, I got a little bit longer battery life, maybe like an hour more out of the 11 Pro. And that kind of makes sense if you look at the difference in the milliamp hour size battery. Also, I think having a larger battery in general means that your battery health will probably hold up a little bit better over time. So I kind of like where the 11 series went with the battery. It was really impressive on pretty much the entire line last year. The 12 Pro is acceptable though. It also gets through a day. Let's talk about the cameras. We have a triple lens setup on the rear on both of them. Both have triple 12 megapixel cameras, and they both have telephoto ultra wide lenses at 13 millimeters, but the main lens goes to f1.6 on the 12 Pro. The 12 Pro also brings this LiDAR sensor, which I don't think most people are really going to use that often right now anyway, but it's there if you want to use it. Then we do have ourselves a flash right there and a flash right there. Okay, now when it comes to the actual camera quality itself, I will say that I do like how the iPhone 12 Pro does seem to get a little bit brighter in the photos. It's very small. It's a very small detail, but you can definitely tell it's a little bit brighter. But you can definitely tell it's even brighter in the video. It does have an HDR video. You can see it right there. So you can get much punchier colors, but be careful if you shoot this video and you don't know how to edit HDR. You're going to have some problems in post-production. And other than that HDR and the fact that the 12 Pro takes a little bit brighter photos, they seem like the same cameras. You definitely don't need to do this upgrade unless you absolutely just want to have this phone, because I think as the 13 comes out, it's going to get even better than this. So there'll probably even be bigger upgrades than what you see here on a 12 Pro. And then when you go to video settings, you still have the ability to go ahead and change them up here just like you would on the iPhone 11 Pro. So I do think the camera is definitely better for this iPhone 12 Pro, but you really would have to take advantage of the camera a lot to really care about this. I mean, it's really not that big of an upgrade. Now, the neat thing about both of them is that they both do shoot some amazing front-facing video as well. 4K 60, but again, the video just looks better on the front of the 12 Pro, a little bit. Either way you go, you're gonna be happy with what these can produce from the front because they can match up with the rear. These are both shooting at such a professional level. Really, you would have to really care about shooting HDR content for the 12 Pro to make a major difference. So that just goes to show the 11 Pro is not being left behind right now. So talking about the audio quality.
So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology.
So that sounded pretty good. And you notice throughout this video, there's a lot of sameness happening here because these phones pretty much produce similar results.
Helping you to master your technology. iPhone XS Max 2-year.
It's very hard to detect the difference here on audio as well. Again, it's a wash in the audio as well. It's pretty much tied in the fact that most people wouldn't be able to hear a difference here either. So the last thing I want to talk about is the connections, because I do think that the iPhone 12 Pro had better signal strength. It also had better mobile data strength. And overall, as far as connectivity goes, I do think it's a nice upgrade to the iPhone 12 Pro. Face ID operated basically identical on both of these phones with no real major issues in there, except for the fact when you're outdoors right now, sometimes you're not able to use it. Fingerprint sensor could be more useful. But at the end of the day, in conclusion, now that we've broke down these phones in detail, how far ahead does the 12 Pro come? Is it really worth it? If you have an 11 Pro, I would say stay put. I would wait till there was bigger upgrades to my phone before I would upgrade it. If you want one of these two phones, if you think it's worth it having HDR video, the $200 will help you out a little bit to get that. For the 12 Pro, if you just got to have that blue, if you want 5G, if you will take advantage of HDR video, if you want that slightly bigger screen, but you never like too large of a screen like the 6.7-inch 12 Pro Max, your iPhone 12 Pro will definitely be the choice for you. So yeah, they're very close. The 12 Pro is the newer phone, but the 11 Pro has been holding on quite well, and both of these phones are phenomenal devices. And I do think they live up to the Pro name, because if you do take advantage of what they offer, they can definitely produce professional results. So if you guys have either one of these phones, let us know what your experience has been like. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick here, and peace.